Marsha, can you hear us? Marsha?
Here.
All right. Today, guys, we're kind of going to go over putting somebody in the system. I know everybody has their own ways of getting them in. This is more just to kind of go over what's expected and what we want out of getting the person in the system. I put a dummy name, John Myers, in the system if you want to look at it. Not terribly important. But we're going to go through exactly what we expect out of it in a phone call. We'll utilize this as a person that you guys have already uploaded a resume or something like that. You'll get the guy on the phone. Just for all intents and purposes here, John Myers is a service manager. So as you're going through, you'll be on the phone with John Myers. John, you sent me a resume. Looks like you're looking at some opportunities in Phoenix. What company are you with right now? Because I may have sent you a resume that doesn't have an updated company. Put the company in here. I've started in candidates. If the company is not in the system, get through this screen, and then perhaps after you're done and you get off the phone with him, if it's a Chrysler store, a Ford store, and that we haven't worked with before, you need to add the company because it's a like industry. So you'll go through here, you'll just type in the work company name, whatever it is, and then we'll add it. You can add it later. Title and department or drop downs, Nick, if you can show him that. He's a service manager, use the drop down. Home address and all that, we'll go through. It should be from the resume. It'll be up, so that'll be uploaded automatically, so I'm not going to worry about that. As you're going through and doing the interview process, there's some questions and some identifying characteristics we're trying to get from these people. You may have called in on a cold call on an 800 number to a dealership. You may find that a work phone, you could ask the guy, I came in on your 800 number or main line. What's your direct extension? Put his direct extension in the work phone. Fax is not always terribly important, but if you want to get a fax number from or a company fax, go ahead and do that. As you're going through the interview process, you may be talking to them at Ford, but then, I know you're working at a Ford store, but what other manufacturer experience do you have? Input is manufacturer experience. Whatever it is, Audi, BMW, Chrysler, Dodge, add it all in there. And then you need to identify, John, what's your educational background? Oh, you know what? I have some college or I have a high school diploma. Get it in there. Certs, do you have any specialized certs with any of the manufacturers? You know what? I'm level 4 Chrysler certs. Get it in there. Dealing in Phoenix or Tucson, something like that. Language skills might be important. Do you speak another language besides English? Yeah, I speak Japanese. I don't know if that's very important, but Spanish might be. You know what? As you're calling to market this guy, hey, a guy that speaks Spanish, he's a Ford service manager, he'd like to come talk to you. That makes a difference. Salary-wise, you want to get with them on what kind of money you're making. You're at the biggest Nissan point I can think of right now. You're making 180. What do I have to do to get you to make the move? I need to make 2.25. So you'll get all that filled in. Computer skills. You want to get through and say, I know we stick this a lot, but what DMS are you? Arcona, ADP, Reynolds. I've done them all. I've used Reynolds. I don't know how to use ADP. And that'll help your marketing moving forward. Referred by, that's where you're getting the resume from. If somebody applies to an Indeed ad, or you find somebody with an Indeed by searching Indeed, it needs to go in as Indeed. If you're calling a dealership, you don't know what it is, it's a cold call. If you're calling off a list, let's say you download from LinkedIn all of the service managers in Phoenix. Probably cold call. Or if you go to a list and you search Google, Nick talked about how you can search all the forms for companies. Those are cold calls. Headhunting is a cold call. It's just important that Nick and Charles especially are capable of finding out where we're getting our people. That way we can make decisions on advertising and sourcing for next year, really. Once you get through that, so you get them on, so you've got all of this pertinent information. And it's an interview process. So you're going to walk through, you're going to get all that from them. You can save them, and then you can go in and you can go to the company. If it's not there, go to Google, search a store, download all their information, get it in the company, and put them in there. If they're already in a company that's in the system, make sure they go to that company. You may find that you now talk to the service manager at a new store. Your next phone call might get identified by the general manager. So you really should start building around the store. One thing when you're on a phone call and you're making a marketing phone call, you may be calling somebody, I've got this guy. You may identify the person as a potential candidate. How far you want to get through this screen sometimes depends on their mood. But you know what, you say, hey, you know what, we're always looking for good service managers. I know you've been with these guys for 10 years. It wouldn't hurt me to have a resume on file on you in case something comes up for a move. So you have to be able to identify that clients are candidates too. So you want to get all that information out of them. On the left side is some social media profiles, and they can kind of give you a rundown on what's.
Yeah, real quick. One of the things I just want to confirm this for myself too. The PCR in here that's what I've been using if they apply from online on PCR. Is that the only time that you would use that one?
That's what I would use unless you can identify
Okay, so social media, real quick. If you have a picture of any candidate, be it from a LinkedIn, a Twitter, a Facebook, or like let's say a lot of the senior leadership at Gila, they have it posted on their website on an executive leadership team webpage. You can just drag that photo onto your desktop, and if you want, when you're in that person's name record, click on the little person icon, drag it right in there, and now there'll be a picture. You can do that for companies too. If you have a company, you want to put their logo as the company picture, go for it. I do it for mine. I don't know why I do it. I just kind of like seeing who they are personally. As far as social media profiles, let's say this isn't that person, but all you have to do is when you're on their profile, copy the URL that's up top. Click on any one of these buttons down on the left-hand side. They'll be gray until you put a profile in there. This was a Facebook profile, so I'll click add, right-click, paste, click save. And you could do the same thing for their Twitter or their LinkedIn or whatever else you might have on them. Then when you go and reload the page, you'll see that the Facebook is now black or darker because you do have a URL in there for it. Anytime you click on it, anybody, you, me, anyone in the company, it'll go right to their profile. It'll be different whether you're connected or friends with them, obviously, depending on your own personal social media profile account. But it's always there. You can always go look at them. They'll just take you to their public page.
And I'm friends with them.
Yeah. No, you can still see it. It'll just be their public page. You can't see very much, but it'll still take you to their profile page. The profile picture is always public, and the name is always public. Other than that, they have privacy things they can do. The other thing, the desired positions, we use this on healthcare to put like remote or a couple different things just to kind of give you a real quick snapshot of what they're looking for. I know that on the automotive side, if he's like a general manager, but he's a general manager at a small store, and if he was at a bigger store, he would take a GSM position. It's kind of important to put desired positions, GSM or GM. Because most of the time you look at a general manager, you're not going to think he's going to look at a GSM spot, but that's not always the case, right? Go ahead.
Within here in the drop down, there's no parts manager in
Under title?
You can just put it in your state. I understand.
Gotcha.
We can inherit it in that.
Do we have it in the actual current title, though?
Yeah, in the title.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So what you're doing is you're going through a full interview process to identify this candidate and their skill set. The best way to do it is asking questions. Any questions?
Is that everything on here?
Keep in mind too that if you have a resume, you can run a search on that candidate. But if you don't have a resume and you run a search, you're not going to find them. Because the search criteria goes right to the resume. So if you have like a manager and a general manager, you have a resume. If you're looking for a particular person, he's never going to show up. So that's another reason why you want to get a resume. Also, if you're trying to find general managers and you don't have a resume, you have to use the information in PCR to find them, i.e. job title, whatever. So just there's a clear distinction between who has resumes and who does not. So if you want, I do searches just by job title a lot, just so I can see everybody. I can sort it by state and do whatever. So you kind of have to be aware of what you're doing. And if you don't see a resume, it's always good to get one.
Did you want to go through the interview? Oh, you're talking about just going through the name. So you're not talking about pipeline issues.
No.
Okay. All right.
You know, another thing that's important about this whole process of asking these questions, it's kind of like, the only thing that we have these guys know about us is the information that we get and what we get from them. It's not like I send them my car, my product. I don't. The only relationship we have with them is on the phone. So even though you kind of, these questions, asking the questions is very much a sales process. You're selling them on who you are, and you're kind of holding yourself out there as, quote, the expert in the recruiting field. You're selling them. So as you race through this page and as you take shortcuts, you're really kind of avoiding a very vital part of what we do. We're trying to add some credibility to what we do. It's either for this opportunity or for something down the road. And it's a huge benefit if they kind of have the perception that we're the experts. And that's what we're selling. And that's why they're paying us fees. That's why they're coming to us with referrals. So I have to, I see a lot of people take shortcuts, and we all do it occasionally. Boy, I tell you what, you're missing an opportunity. And if it's gonna take maybe a couple extra minutes to do the process, do it.
And one thing I skipped over here, referrals and references. Everybody's getting better at getting them. Get them, do them, stick them in. And referrals and references a lot of times are recruiting sources. If you're talking to the service manager at AutoNation, his references might be general managers, CFOs, corporate service directors. So you're very much have more clients to call and more candidates to call. That's what you're trying to get off that. Your references, when you're asking for references, you're not necessarily chasing the reference. You're going to find out what you need to know about the guy. You're looking for more people.
And that's a distinction too that I want to hammer home just a little bit. One of the criteria that I'm going to implement in order for someone to own a candidate, they need to have a list of references. And that's it. And those list of references is an opportunity to recruit people. I'm not necessarily interested in their opinion of your candidate. I just want a list of people who I can recruit from. And as somebody asking for the list, you have control of what you want. And I encourage you to direct the candidate that direction. If I'm interviewing a controller who happens to be with AutoNation, I ask them, give me a list of some of your buddies at AutoNation. Give me a list of your controllers as a list of reference in the event that I need to use them. Whatever I could tell them to get that list is what I want. And obviously, if you're looking for a nurse, working for a hospital or work for a hospital at St. Joe's or Banner or somebody, give me a list of some of your colleagues if you're having trouble to identify. Let me know who they are. And I also encourage people to let them know that if they send you a list or how you send it, assure them that it's in confidence, assure them that you're not going to call them on them unless they say it's okay. But get that list, put it in as an attachment, go to it as you can. The actual reference process is the actual calling a candidate and getting the reference. Whether you do it or not has to do with a lot of whether you need to, i.e., I need to get a better feel about who this guy is to help me market him, to find out at least something about him. Or if we place him, I want to get a reference. But that process is actually recorded in the file under history. It says reference, and there's a little box there that you put your notes in. Don't list anybody in there if you're not going to call them. I don't want to see that screen where it says number of references 5 or 6. That's not a list of people. Those are people who've actually talked to you about that. So don't list people in there. If you want to get a list, then that's attachment. Now keep in mind too.
Does everybody follow that? Let me show you. Okay.
Keep in mind too, if you're on the phone, and I hear this, not so much on the healthcare side, and I hear it on the automotive side a lot. We can't get references. Please, you're on the screen, you're talking to somebody, who's your benchmate? What's his name? John Smith. Great. What's John Smith's cell number? 602, whatever. Reference list. You got it. Get another one. And just type it up, save it on the screen as a Word document, and just upload it as an attachment. That's all I need. So anyways.
And do keep in mind your references and calling these people. You need a reference, and you very much, my government's listening to it. That's supposed to just references. If you have a clinical director or another social worker, you're probably going to want to pay attention to, as opposed to just references.
Anybody here have a good tip on how to get a reference or why to get a reference? Whether you're using them for that we maybe not thought about? Anything that I don't know.
Some of the references I've done have been the biggest clients. Surge Center was a reference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, and that's a sales process. That's right. You're calling a guy, and he's thinking you're a big recruiter. You're calling in these candidates. Now, maybe you didn't. Maybe you wanted to get a reference. Maybe you were just selling them. But in essence, you did sell them. You told them, "Hey, I'm a great recruiter. I'm getting some information about that work for you. Tell me about him. Oh, by the way, I can do the same thing for you. Hey, that's great. You can find me somebody." So it's all selling is what we're doing. And once again, take a shortcut. I know I know a lot of people don't want to take the time to get a reference, but you know what to do. If you're working for job orders in the morning, you're working for candidates in the afternoon. A reference is just a way of doing those two functions. So there's really no reason to do a shortcut. No reason at all. It's all about you getting to more people and more business.
Well, and if the person you're talking to is somebody that's kind of in our wheelhouse, like John, we just placed a new director of nursing at the Caring House. One of his references was an administrator in Missouri, a nursing home administrator. We've done a lot of those searches. So I get the reference, and then I put him in at his company, and I make sure I put him in the licensed nursing home roll-up. Now he can be used as a client because he even said he might want to come to Arizona someday. And B, he's a candidate and a client. If I ever have anybody that works in nursing homes that goes to Missouri, I'm going to call him. Mm-hmm. And if I ever have a nursing home administrator position in Missouri, I'm going to call him as a candidate. Mm-hmm. I have his work number, I have his cell phone number. He's in under his company.
Yeah. And keep in mind too, the information you're putting in, you may not know the benefit of that information. But other people, like Charles, will come in there and he'll be doing stuff. He'll say, God, I don't have a personal email address. I don't have this. Or you may be typing like if you're typing in parts manager and you misspelled manager, you didn't have a drop down because you didn't have a drop down. Well, it's never going to come up. You misspelled it. So you have to think about the reason the drop downs are in there is because we're trying to control that function. And like I said, if it's not in there, you might say, hey, I got a problem here. And that's an issue that I had blown up forever today. I knew that guy wasn't in that parts manager. I should have mentioned her a long time ago. But check out. Other people are using this information, and you may not realize that it's to your benefit if someone else is using your information to place your candidate. So that's why. Any other questions? Marsha? What? Any questions? Christine? All right. Well,